Yes.
So welcome to the 33rd annual E3 predictions.
Yes.
With Jai and Tim, the Tera Flops.
Hello. We've got some interesting information for you today, don't we, Tim?
Well, I think it's interesting.
It's E3. We've got to talk about it. It's about, 8 days away?
Yeah, 8 days.
Very
I'm
soon.
taking the day off work. I'm very excited.
Well, it's for us Australians, it's 7 a.m. on Monday. So
And
it's a public holiday. Right?
Who kicks it off?
I don't know.
Oh, all right. Got to do our research.
Sorry, that's the Microsoft show.
Microsoft kicks it off.
Mm.
And then Sony, 11 a.m. on Tuesday.
If you say so.
Yep, that's what it is. Got
Nice
it marked
one.
in my diary.
Excellent. So we're going to talk about
Still use a diary.
some predictions and some things we know about E3. So it should be good. But first off, let's talk about the dark horse of the whole operations.
Nintendo.
Smashed it out of the park, of course, earlier this year with the Switch.
The Switch, selling
Depending
well.
on who you speak to.
Yeah. I want one.
We haven't switched yet.
I want it to have more games before I get one.
Games are important, But
Not a Zelda fan.
yeah, if you don't like Zelda, there's no need to
Not
switch
much there.
at all.
No.
I got nothing against Zelda, but we both just missed that as kids growing up, didn't we? I never played any
I
Zelda.
never played it when I was growing up, no. And I bought Skyward Sword when that came out because everyone said it was great and it sucked balls. I was playing it for 3
Divided
hours.
the audience in
and I was-
half already.
I was still in the tutorial after 3 hours and I thought, nope, not for me.
Yeah, so we're not Zelda fans, but the console itself it interests me a lot. I'm just waiting for something like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze to come across from because I loved that and never got to play it because I didn't own a
I want a good
Wii
Donkey Kong
U.
game. I want a good Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, but I mean Mario's coming and Mario Kart just released, so it's
Yep.
exciting. It's a good time to be a Nintendo fan, but they're not even doing an actual live show. They haven't done that for a few years.
No
you
live
were saying.
shows, no Nintendo Direct. But what are they going to announce? What are they going to show? What are they going to wow us with?
Maybe a game, a new
Hopefully.
game. So they're going to have something.
Is it
that's
going to be
new.
something new, or is it going to be something that we've seen 10 years ago and it'll be
on a previous
updated
console?
graphics?
There'll be definitely some of that.
There'll be some of that.
But maybe something new, surely. And
Really want to see new Donkey Kong. That's all I care about.
yeah, I'd love
I care
Donkey.
about.
We played Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3
Oh,
more
I've
than
played
anything.
them. Yeah.
One of my favorite games of all time.
I think that's Donkey Kong 1 I have played probably at least 5 times over since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
It doesn't sound like very many, but I haven't played any games more than once.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
And I've played them even through emulators and stuff since then. So Nintendo is back in a big way, as we know. They're probably not going to be too many big surprises from them. We know they've got that Game Pass sort of online
Yeah, the
situation.
online subscription that got announced the other day.
I'll talk about that.
$20 US for the month. Apparently you get a couple old games.
Yeah.
Don't know too much about it yet. We'll find out more.
Yeah, so basically we're both interested in the Switch, but for us to actually jump on board, we need a couple more games. So
Yeah, they need to sell it to me.
yeah, so I think a
butter
lot
me
of
up.
people have sort of almost switched over, but we needed something else. So Nintendo hopefully will deliver that.
Hopefully.
But as far as that, big rumours for Nintendo, I don't think anything's going to blow anyone out of the water. They're not going to surprise anyone in a big way, I wouldn't think.
No. I'm interested to see the new Mario game. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Mario.
Of course.
His games are always fun.
They will show more of Mario,
Him
definitely.
jumping around New York City looked interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of open world games. There's too many open world games right now.
Yeah.
Some of them are amazing, like Horizon Zero Dawn, but not everything. So they got to again sell me on that. But if I had a Switch, you got to buy Mario.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of cartoony fun. Next
Yeah.
up, we've got Sony. What is Sony going to bring to the table?
Lots.
Lots.
Lots
There's going to be
of
a lot of
games.
games. A lot
Yeah.
of new games or things we saw last year. Maybe we'll get some release dates.
Yeah.
Some more concrete info.
Yeah. So last year was big for Sony with a lot of new IPs shown.
Days gone.
And none of them have come out except
Nope.
for Horizon Zero Dawn,
Yep.
which we both
was awesome.
loved.
Awesome.
Amazing game.
Haven't finished yet, but I will.
Finished, but I play on easy, so it was easy.
Oh.
Yeah, but we haven't seen a lot of the games they teased last time.
We haven't.
So they have to bring
heard
something new.
anything since last year. I'll make a bold prediction. I'm going to say Spider-Man is going to come out October, November this year.
I think they need a really big exclusive after all the talk, and Death Stranding is going to be probably 2 years away, if that. So
They're going to
Spider-Man,
show. They're going to show a lot of that, I reckon.
I think they'll show a little bit more, but
It's a long way away, but I reckon they're going to show a lot of it because it just gets people wet.
it gets people wet.
Gets people wet.
Yeah, there's
people
water
love
in the
Kojima.
trailer.
Yeah.
And babies floating down
In some black oil.
black oil,
Yeah.
and Mad
like black oil.
Nicholson doing that look that he does. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
it.
I expect big things from them. We also know that Sony have bought the advertising rights for almost every multi-plat game that's being released in the next freaking 18
Every
months.
third-party game you see, they've got their trailer, they've their name attached to the trailer.
Yeah, and that's been the case for the last couple of years, but even more so at this E3 more than ever. I think Microsoft, that's where they're going to have to. They've got some work to do to catch up with Sony in that regard, because they've really because Sony sold so many consoles. It's not a hard decision for software designers to be like, all right, we'll go with Sony for the marketing rights because they've sold twice as many consoles. So
yeah, but things will change with the Scorpio. But before we get into Microsoft, other games that we'll see from Sony, I think we'll definitely see some more Last of Us Part 2.
Yes. So everyone, if you don't like Last of Us, you have a problem. Every single person who's played it loves it.
So
even
good.
replaying it on PS4 Pro has been pretty awesome as well. Look up there.
I'm predicting some kind of shock for the Last of Us.
There will be some sort of shock. Well, the shock that is there is Last of Us at all. Like that's
true.
Naughty Dog. We know it's going to be awesome. So that'll
They could have
definitely
stayed as a standalone series. I wouldn't mind. They didn't have a sequel. What else?
I need to pause.
Cut there, fair enough. Alright, so we've had to move inside. It was raining outside, but much nicer in here.
Fun continues. All good.
We're going to start talking about God of War.
Yes.
I'm particularly excited about God of War. Loved the first 3 games. The prequel they did was a bit meh. It was more of the same, which is a good thing why they're changing. They're changing up the whole formula. It's much more cinematic, third-person action kind of thing.
Yeah. So freshening it up. It should be really good. The footage that we've seen so far has been very solid. But again, that's probably not this year. That's probably next year.
Probably next year. Yeah.
So
apparently it's fully playable though. I mean, it's not polished, but it's fully playable. So that's a good sign.
So we'll see some of that.
Yeah.
And we spoke about it just briefly before, but The Last of Us 2 is definitely going to be a huge game for Sony. So Naughty Dog can't do it wrong. They've never produced a bad game as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So we know that's going to be a big hit.
And I want to see gameplay.
Yeah.
I don't want to just see another cinematic trailer where they're playing guitar. I want to see some gameplay.
Yeah.
I want to see some variation.
Show us some zombies. Yeah.
Yeah. How are they evolved?
They're the same. They're exactly the same.
The
Yes.
same.
Confirmed. You heard it first.
Nah.
You're at Tera
it's a
Flops.
huge evolution.
Maybe.
They're zombies.
But either
They're
way,
not zombies.
it's going to be AAA. And that's what we
Anyways.
know.
Apart from that,
Of course, we've got the
there'll
other...
be some surprises.
Yeah, there'll be some surprises, definitely. They have to have something to, excite us, because we've known about the games for a while.
Yeah.
But also, Naughty Dog have the downloadable content for Last of Us, not for Last of Us, for Uncharted.
Uncharted,
Yeah.
Lost Legacy.
It's pretty much a whole new game. I heard it was like going to be 10 hours, or maybe not 10 hours. Was it-
Between 6 to 10 hours, depending on your play style.
So for
if
me,
you're-
20 hours.
Well, for you though, no, it'd be like 6 hours for you. You like to just blast through.
Oh, well, I'll play on easy.
Yeah. See, I like to take my time, explore every nook and cranny, looking for those
He
collectibles.
loves crannies and nooks. Yeah. Where's the cranny?
The dirtier the better. But yeah, I don't want to see too much from that because I want to be surprised. It's only coming out in August.
You want the crannies to be revealed in time.
I like to see the crannies when I'm sitting on my couch alone.
I feel like I can't get past crannies around it.
No, focused on the nooks and the crannies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Get your head out of the cranny.
Yeah, so you heard it first here. Sony to have lots of crannies and nooks at their E3 conference. That's what it's all about. That game's going to be huge, and that's only...
Is that the names of the 2 main characters?
Yes, the
Nook and
the darker
Nook
woman
and
and the lighter woman are called Nook and Cranny. It's like a Jack and Dexter sort of situation with Nook and Cranny. So that we're looking forward to that. But that's not long after E3. That releases in August, doesn't it? So that's huge. If you have Uncharted, you will buy that, else you're either poor now, or you're dead,
Or you're a misogynist.
or an idiot.
Because you don't want to play as women.
You don't like getting involved with crannies or nooks. You're waiting for the other expansion, which deals with something. I wanted to say something that was a synonym for that. Knobs and Johnsons.
So that covers everything in Sony's conference, I think.
Yeah, just quickly back to Spider-Man.
Sure.
What we saw previously looked amazing.
Oh yeah. Open world Spider-Man.
Did they confirm that was in-game graphics though?
They did.
That's huge. So I think they need to have Spider-Man as confirmed this year. They need it to be this year, not saying Sony, oh, we'll see you in 2022. No, it needs to be this year, and that will be a huge mic drop moment for them if they can do that.
Yeah.
Because
It's
exclusive.
Insomniac, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a good track record.
They do.
They did.
Yeah.
Did they do Sunset Overdrive?
Yes.
They did.
Yeah, which I played. I really liked the idea of it, but again, like a lot of sandbox open world games, after about an hour, I'm like, what now? I don't know that a lot of people loved it, but it was free on Xbox, so of course I downloaded it. So yeah, this was good.
Nice. Could be a sequel to that. The Microsoft conference.
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't.
I don't think it sold well enough for a sequel.
Yeah.
It got a lot of good reviews, but it didn't sell very well.
Cult classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. as far as Sony goes, as far as hardware, do you think you expect any new hardware to be announced?
I don't expect it, but I want to see it. I want to see a new PlayStation handheld. So I had a Vita. I love my Vita.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had a great library of games. It trickled out. It thinned out towards the end. But with all the PlayStation 1 classics that it had, it kept me entertained. Yeah. So I think a new PlayStation handheld, if they manage to have it some way similar to the Switch, where you can play your PS4 games on it, like with the remote play, it'll be a big seller.
It could interest me. I've never bought a PlayStation handheld. There were a couple, weren't there? But I never jumped on board because I don't game on the move that much. That's why the Switch appealed to me a little bit more, because you're getting a console and the handheld.
Yeah.
So when the wife's watching MasterChef, you can play, Mario Kart. I don't expect that, but it'd be welcome news.
Oh yeah.
And so that's all I expect from. That's pretty much the Sony show.
Yep.
But of course, because they bought all the rights for so many games, we'll see Battlefront on the Sony stage. We'll see
Call of Duty will be on their stage. Red Dead Redemption 2 will be on their stage, I reckon.
So that's been pushed back to next year. We know that now. But that will be on the Sony stage. And of course, we're looking forward to Battlefront 2 more than any game, I think.
Yeah, I think Red Dead Redemption for me, but for this year, definitely focused on Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
I want them to go back to the roots that the PS2 Battlefront 2 was. So much open action and having heroes fight villains. Like you could set up a match in the old one where you just have your team of heroes fighting a team of villains. And that was so much fun.
And single player. We want single player. Both of us really missed the single player in Battlefront previous. So
there's going to be a decent single player campaign set from the end of Return of the Jedi up until The Force Awakens, apparently.
Yes. So lots of Ewok carcasses involved. Yeah. So that should be good. And it looks great. So that's
might even be some sort of revelations. You might see some hints, because it's canon. It's all canon. It's all canonical. It could introduce some hints from the Force Awakens.
What?
Canonical.
Yeah. Speaking of canonicals, that's pretty much the Sony conference. So we know that. Now let's speak about Microsoft. So it's very important for Microsoft to smack this one out of the park, because
they need to.
They know that their sales are much lower than Sony's. We know that
they don't have any games.
They have games. They have lots of games. When you look at them, Sony just tells you about games 5 years in advance. In 5 years, you got this. You can play this. So they need to have a big E3. We know that. But of course, they've got the Scorpio. So I think my prediction is the big mic drop moment is Scorpio.
Yeah.
$399 US.
Is that a big enough mic drop? You reckon that's a decent price?
That mic drop will break the mic. Even if it's an SM58 well-designed mic, it will break in half. Yes, I have that mic. And it will drop and break. But they need to do that. They need to be $399, I think, to really compete and push the PlayStation, because the Pro and the baseline PlayStation will go down. They'll get a price drop, I'm sure. So it needs to be $399 American, which for Australian viewers, we think that'll be about $550.
$550.
It works out to being
same as the Pro.
Yeah.
Same as the Pro.
If you currency converter it works out to be $535, so $550 makes sense.
Get Aussie tax on there.
It could get Aussie tax to $599, but let's hope it's $550.
Let's hope not. Let's hope.
Yeah,
but let's not go there.
Yeah, hopefully trade in the Xbox anyway and get a discount. So.
Yeah. Go to eBay. They'll give you $10 for it.
Yeah, eBay give you $10 and a little card that tells you have 10% off in 5 years. We hate eBay, don't we?
Oh, I do not shop.
Unless you want to sponsor us, we are Tera Flops. You can find us on the internet.
Yes, we are on the internet apparently.
We are now. On our 33rd episode, right?
Send help.
Yeah, send help, please. In cash. Other than that, Microsoft conference, so we know we're going to have Scorpio. They'll probably spend it's about an hour-long show usually, an hour, so maybe an hour and a half, I don't know. But I think they'll spend about 20 minutes on the Scorpio. I think almost all the games you see will be running on Scorpio.
Yeah.
They're going to push the 4K. PlayStation's pushing dynamic 4K, which if you don't know means not really 4K. So Microsoft will really push the real 4K. And I think...
I'm sure it'll look so much different.
It'll look much different. I've got a 4K TV. It's an OLED, and it'll look great. We're not going to see Halo at this E3.
No Halo.
No Halo. We're going to have a break from Halo. We're not going to have Gears, but we'll see Forza. What are they up to? 7?
I think you're wrong about Halo, but...
There could be like a little teaser video like, in 7 years, Halo. Other than that, what are the big things? So there's a rumor that Fable's coming back.
Fable?
I never played Fable, but a lot of people who, on the original Xbox, really got into Fable.
Okay.
There's big rumors that there's a big action-adventure game on Xbox coming up. And we know that with Uncharted and... What else does Sony have in that? And that, with Horizon Zero Dawn and
Horizon.
Uncharted, they're really well covered in that department. So Microsoft need to step up in that department. It could be Fable, it could be something else.
You think this might be Remedy's new game?
Remedy, maybe.
Think they're working on something good?
Maybe. Quantum Break wasn't that long ago, though, so if they announce a game, it wouldn't be this year, I wouldn't think, if it's a AAA game. So, yeah, I think that we're going to see a couple of surprises for Microsoft. Also, they've got the State of Decay 2, which will be pretty big, and that's going to fully utilise Scorpio's power, I'm sure. But their big push is going to be that every single multi-plat game will look best on Xbox Scorpio. There's no real way for Sony to deny that. Even if they got the marketing rights for it, they're all going to be that little bit better for whatever reason on the Scorpio. Some of them will have true 4K.
Flops.
Lots of flops everywhere.
Just flopping it out.
Flopped it out. That's all about the flops.
Oh, yeah.
So I really think that that's their push. They'll be saying multi-plats will look best here, and we've got these few exclusives, which hopefully will be enough to, get us engaged. And they've got the Game Pass as well.
The Game Pass?
Yeah, so if you love old games from 5 years ago that you haven't played yet because you didn't want to,
it's like a subscription thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
They need some more titles for that because there's only a few real AAA games, and I thought either have that or don't give a shit. So I think that it's not a bad deal if you're new to the ecosystem and you want to just buy a console and straight away have 100 games for just $10 a month or whatever it is. It's not a bad deal.
I've never had an Xbox, so it sounds good to me. If I was going to get one, that would be a huge selling point.
It's a nice entry point. And with Danny McBride advertising it, what could go wrong?
Who's advertising?
Danny McBride, is that his name?
Danny McBride, yeah, that's right. I thought you were going to say something like Sammy Thaiday was going to be advertising at the flop.
They asked
master.
him. He's a good flopper. Oh, Heimarsh would be the flop master.
Hindy the flopper.
He made 6 teraflops per game. Yeah. Yeah, we're sponsored by Fox Sports now
Fox
as well.
Sports, yeah. Maddie, how you going?
Yeah. So, any more big things we just speak about? So there will be a few
surprises.
surprises.
Are we going to see some Forza at Microsoft?
Yeah, Forza.
Is there going to be another one?
100% Forza, 60 frames per second, 4K. Battlefront 2 will run in 60 frames per second, 4K, which would be huge. That'll be huge because that game looks amazing. And in 4K 60, it's going to run just super smooth.
Yeah.
As long as Microsoft can tell people that, because the marketing rights with Sony, can they even mention that on stage? Can they show footage?
Oh, I think they can.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah. It's all about how they get their message across, Microsoft.
Well,
that's where they rise and fall.
They made some poor decisions in the previous E3s with their messaging, but Phil Spencer's all over it. He's like a god, right? So he's good at messaging. Phil Spencer, he's like the cool dude who walks up in his leather jacket. He's like, "We got games, games, games." He doesn't talk like that, but in Phil we trust. You can tell I'm a little bit more of an Xbox fanboy. He's a little bit more of a PS fanboy, but we love games in general. So
we do.
Yeah. So Tim, E3 is not a race, but if there's a winner, who's the winner and why?
Who's the winner? Well, okay, it's not going to be Nintendo because they're not even there. They're going to come out. They're going to show some old games. They're going to show a new game. People are going to get excited over shit they've already played, 10 years ago. I think Sony will just edge out Microsoft. I think Microsoft will be strong. They'll show some really exciting new stuff. They'll probably show a few good sequels, and the Scorpio will just make games look amazing. But, I mean, with The Last of Us Part 2, God of War, Spider-Man, like, all the games that are coming out for Sony for the PS4 are right up my alley. They are really, really appealing to me. And if they have a few good surprises in there, genuine good surprises, not just like there's some shitty PSN game coming out today and you can play it and it's a 5 out of 10 kind of game. No, you can play that. I want to be surprised. I want to be wowed. I want to be wined and dined and fucked in.
You want extra nooks and crannies.
Oh yeah. Fucked in the nooks and crannies.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I obviously think that Microsoft will win E3 if you do win.
It's a good chance. There's a good chance.
Like you said though, Sony has a really good list of exclusive games, but if none of them are listed to come out this year, it means
they've got to come out this year.
I think that they have to have 2 huge games this year. So if Spider-Man is one, they need one more big one. And I don't know if they're going to have 2 really big ones this year. I think a lot of them are going to be pushed back. So I think for me, Microsoft wins with the Scorpio alone, and there could be some augmented reality stuff that are going to be compatible with the Scorpio.
That's exciting.
If that happens, I don't think it's going to be a Microsoft headset. I think they've already got partnership deals now with Acer and a few other companies. So I think they're going to say, get a Scorpio, this will work, that'll work, this will work. You can get 3 headsets, whatever is your price point. If you want to go cheaper, you can do that. If you want to go higher, you can. So
you think this headset will work on like a PC and Xbox kind of thing?
Yeah, they've already got some headsets out that work with PC, and because Microsoft's console, the Scorpio is running on Windows 10 pretty much. It's not hard to think that leap could happen.
Configure it.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a lot of PSVR stuff.
I don't know. We both jumped in on the Playstation VR. I sold mine.
Still got mine. I don't play it, but I still got it.
Yeah, the gimmick has worn off. They need real games. I heard
there's a pain in the ass to put on and, get the sweet spot right.
Yeah, and you've got cords coming out of your head like Neo from The Matrix, but even more uncomfortable with less ooze.
Yeah.
And
my wife films me sometimes when I've got it on. I don't know she's filming me, and then she...
Yeah, people come up behind you and smack you in the kidneys, or if you play in public places. So yeah, they've got work to do. I've lost total interest in PlayStation VR.
They'll have a few games announced. They'll probably dedicate 5 minutes to sizzle reel, whatever new shit they've got coming up. But I don't know. It's another one of those experiments that they've done that hasn't quite paid off for them.
I'm not saying it's not the future, but it's going to be when it's no cords. In the future, we're not going to have any cords at all with VR, and that's when you're going to really see it working. That's why augmented reality could be a little bit better if we've got less being tethered by less things to the console itself, and even if it's just sort of being like the HUD information is coming through the screen, and if you, for example, if you get shot, like the blood sort of effect or something will come up on your visor, so it's like half. Not the whole game is on your screen, but you're looking through your glasses onto the screen. Yeah, that could be something cool.
I like that because it's not like you're boxed into this world like you are with the VR and then the Vive and the Oculus.
It's like a claustrophobic experience.
It's claustrophobic. I mean, that's what makes it immersive. But with the HoloLens, you can see what's going on around you. You're not going to bump into shit, knock over your beer when you're doing your VR and that kind of thing.
That's right.
So I have done that. I've knocked over a beer everywhere.
We've all been there. I have not been there.
All right.
Yeah. So that's the main things we're looking forward to. It's going to be exciting. I think E3 gets bigger every year.
Yep.
So it's only about a week away.
June 11th or 12th it kicks off.
Yeah, well, I know that Microsoft is starting a day early, so I think it's 11th, but 12th Australian time. So yeah.
Open to the public for the first time ever as well.
Really? We should go sometime.
I would love that, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to send tickets our way.
Send them our way.
The air flight as well.
We'll set up a GoFundMe page for you to pay for us to go and do these things.
Patrons, is that what they call it these days? We'll do one of those as well. What? Patreon,
yep.
Patreon. Oh, Patreon. I can't read, so...
I can't speak.
Yeah, so work well. So yeah, so if you have any thoughts about things we missed or things you want us to talk about,
give us feedback.
Next
we want
time,
feedback.
Give us feedback.
This is our 33rd show.
It's our 33rd show, but in some ways
practicing.
it's the first. In some ways, like the literal sort of sense of that. So if you have feedback, send it to us.
Not true.
It's not true. We've been doing this for a long time.
We've been doing this longer than you.
I know Phil Spencer personally, and we share leather jackets. I didn't wear it today because it's his turn.
I don't know him, but he knows me.
Yeah, we all know him.
He knows me.
So anyway, if you enjoyed the show, hit that thumbs up.
Hit the subscribe.
Share amongst your friends. We might not do this ever again if you don't, so it's really up to you.
But we might do a E3 reactions.
I will do an E3 reactions, even if it's just us with no sound going. There's no sound. You don't have to.
Oh, okay. I don't have to do the sound.
So we look forward to hearing back from you. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you for the last however long.
20 minutes.
20 minutes or so.
I can't believe we talked for 20 minutes.
No, but yeah, I do.
It's pretty good.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting topic. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. We are the Tera Flops.
Flopping all over your face.
Chai 2K. Jedi Timmy.
Catch up.
See you soon.